Hello and welcome. This video will cover the calibration of pH meter available in the chemical engineering lab. To start with, you will need to switch on the pH meter from the on-off switch on the back side of the equipment. You will need to remove the protection cap from the electrode. Remember, there is buffer solution inside to protect the electrode, so be careful while pulling this out, and you can keep it in a beaker like so and keep it separately. Before starting with using the pH meter in an experiment, we will need to calibrate the pH meter to make sure it's taking the current temperature in consideration while measuring pH, and to make sure it's giving the right values. Before any measurement, we will need to use water to rinse the electrode and the temperature probe. So this is basically the temperature probe, and this is the pH probe. We are going to use for the calibration purpose two buffer solutions, pH 7 and pH 4. In order to get into the calibration procedure, we will need to press on the calibration button, the first one, CAL, is for calibration. As we press, we will get some information on the screen which we will need to follow. At the corner there, we will get the expected value for the buffer solution. Right now we are getting 7.01. So we can use pH 7 for that purpose. We can change that value, depends on the calibration we are taking, by using these up and down buttons. So changing this up and down will change the buffer solution up and down. We will get a flashing screen in here, which means it's waiting for the buffer solution. Before we get a reading, it's always good to use a tissue to dry make sure that the electrode for temperature is dry, and that little drop of chemical underneath the pH probe is just taken away. You don't need to dry it completely, something like that. Then we'll get it to buffer solution 7 as shown there, and give it some time to get to the right value. Now we can see the value is changing slowly. We'll need to give that some time to get stable. We need to make sure that there is about 3 centimeters of buffer solution for the calibration purpose, so the electrode should be submerged at least 3 centimeters. Similarly, while taking measurements, 3 centimeters of any chemicals will need to be above the electrode. The flashing screen is still there, and we will need to wait till we get ready message in there. As we get ready message, we will need to press on CFM, which is confirming the readings. So the second button, CFM, need to be pressed now. And as we press that, the buffer requirements is changing now. We can get 4 here. Again, we can use up down buttons to change that. Here we get the actual reading, and here again buffer is flashing. So we'll need to get the electrode up back to the large beaker. We'll need to make sure we use some water to rinse the electrode, both of them, temperature and pH. Similarly, we'll use small tissue to dry the temperature electrode and just remove that extra liquid from the pH. Now we'll get it to the next reading, and we'll wait till we get ready message in here. Now we can see it's changed to nearby 4. In here we are using the Hana instruments pH meter HI2211. We can cover these buttons while waiting. We got temperature up and down, which will be basically to change the temperature value manually or to change the buffer solution if we are in the calibration. The first two, we use them in the calibration. CAL is for entering the calibration procedure. CFM is to confirm measurements, if it's in the calibration or in other secrets. These three here starts with range, memory, and MR. Range is going to change the range of measurement. MEM is for memory, to take a value and store it in the memory, and MR is read memory, which will read a value from the memory stored previously. In this buffer solution, we are going to see a small logo there with showing buffer and a small number 2, means this buffer solution is number 2. This is a 2-point calibration which has 2 buffer solutions. We can do also 1-point calibration, but in order to get more accurate values, always it's good to have the 2-point calibration. Always remember, while using the pH meter, the temperature probe should be with the electrode together in the solution you are measuring, and always use water to rinse both before changing between solutions. So now we got the ready message in there and CFM is flashing. We'll need to click on CFM and that will get the pH meter into the reading screen, which will give us pH in the middle and temperature. So this is basically it for the pH meter calibration. Thank you for watching.